Hello, my name is Sharon Dvorak, and welcome to the channel of Infinite Teachings with Sharon Dvorak. Many know me because I have been doing my work since 1986 and have been holding groups, holding workshops, retreats, doing private readings, and I am a channel. I have been a channel for two beings that are outside of our astral universe. They are part of the infinite universe, and they have been teaching humanity and all who have sought them out all these years to create and to remember that we are spiritual beings having a human finite experience and to assist us to change and transform the very areas that have prevented us from shining our light and being fully who we're here to be. I also have done all of the assignments and exercises through the years. I don't expect anyone to work with them if I wasn't willing to work with them myself and do the work. And sometimes I am much more human than I would choose to show anyone. However, one of the main things that I have been working to transform all these years is to not keep myself small. For years, Ma-Ryah and Peter, the beings of the infinite universe, for years they have been requesting me to take them more public. And every time I've had an opportunity to do that, I have squashed it. I have done everything possible to prevent it and make sure it didn't happen. I've moved around the country and have lived in so many states and been to so many places in the United States of America. And Peter and Ma-Ryah are well known in the areas that I have worked because word of mouth would bring people to study with them as well as to come and have readings and to understand their life and the reasons that they create the way they do. Some came for general things. In the beginning was always, this is a job I want. Well, I get the job. After a while, we all learned who came and studied with them that that's free will. And they would always give assignments in their lessons and their teachings. And in between one lesson and the next, those of us who chose to would do the assignments. And some of the assignments brought forward painful memories, painful moments, and areas of ourself that wasn't easy to acknowledge. And like I said, I just keep blocking going public and allowing them to speak to as many people as possible. And lately, they have been very strongly advising. They never say, I have to do something. They refer to me as the vessel. And indeed, I am very honored to be seen as the vessel to make the connections to Peter and Ma-Ryah and to allow them to communicate to the human beings who seek to learn from them. In the beginning, it was very basic understanding of what was seen as the soul versus what was seen as the ego. And over time, we learned that anything that prevents us from remembering who we are as a spirit having the human experience and limits us in any way, diminishes us in any way, separates us from who we perceive God to be, no matter what your perception of that being is. We came to understand that what we perceived was our soul communicating was actually some different aspects of our human psyche and ego. They have gradually taken many into the teachings of the infinite awareness, how to work through the higher energies connected to truly our soul, who is only able to come through as pure love. It can't suffer, it can't be limited, it is pure and absolute love. And our spirit is always connected to and never separated from the source of all that is. I see this energy as the creator. In the beginning, when they make a connection, they will always acknowledge and they say God's blessings, state which one is speaking, and they say they are from the higher realms of God. And that is something that's left over from my very first communications with them. I've had a lot of church wounding and a lot of episodes to go through. And so that was necessary for me to have them referred to the source of all energy, the creator, the beingness of everything, the great mystery who none of us truly understand, right? I would work with them, and that was necessary for them to not shake against what I perceive that energy to be. I've always believed that the energy of the creator is in every single thing. I am purposely not going to stop this and edit or do any of this because this is how I have presented myself all these years. I stumble, I stutter. Myself presents myself very differently than you will see with Ma-Ryah and Peter. And I will also never, ever edit any of their videos. What you will see in the lighting will be exactly what is present when they communicate. Once they began to teach the awareness and the knowledge of infinite teachings, they also have made their lessons open to all beings, whether physical or non-physical. Some beings in the fourth dimension of the astral plane have transformed and moved to a higher energy within that and allowed themselves to remember the roles that they played as the human being did not truly identify them, and there is no judgment. There is merely the understanding. This is what I chose to create. This is what I experienced, and this is what I learned from it. And that they learn that ultimately, when we're finished with these roles, and we go home to spirit, the only questions we are asked, did you love? And have you loved? Everything else we handle in the review of our lifetime, just like a playwright will be criticized and critiqued by a theater critic and will say whether the play was good or not, what parts they liked, what parts they didn't, what flowed and what seemed forced. And it's the same thing for our lives. We come into this life with a plan, and that plan gets fulfilled. And very often, we've all come in still experiencing separation and perceive ourselves as having to earn our way back to the source of love that we came from. We are the ones that separated. That source never, ever separated from us. Many teachings are in our world now that take care of identifying the shadows, are scripts of limitation, diminishment, judgment, rejection. And there's very few that are teaching from the infinite studies. Ma-Ryah and Peter see our entire universe, everything and everyone within it, as being the astral universe, a place where souls and spirits will seek to manifest and experience themselves as who they are not, and to have the knowledge of what that experience teaches all of us, and that ultimately the evolution and the transformation as remembrance comes to all of us eventually through our journeys. And so for those that are seeking to have teachings that are not well known in our world now, and teaching from the infinite sources, coming to be part of this channel will be assisting you to make that absolutely truth. You will find that you will be pushed to the limits. You will find sometimes your mind is just stretched and you wonder, how can we even wrap our minds around it? We are finite experience beings. We become aware of thought, of what we would like to create. And in our thoughts, we go over different scenarios. Ultimately, hopefully, we choose one. And we began to speak that into reality. Our words manifest our reality. And so when we choose that one and we say, this is what I'm going to do, we begin to nourish it and feed it. And based on previous scripts and experiences, we'll say how much or how little our ego states will seek to sabotage us or bring us back to continue the script of not remembering where we come from and who we are able to be. Kindness and love and compassion, no judgment, observing, being aware of everyone's choices, and knowing that everyone creates a choice according to the journey they have chosen to know. And right now, when our entire world is in such a state of turmoil, and there are so many reasons to be afraid, part of what you learn with Peter and with Ma-Ryah is how to know who you are, to use the energy and the power of the I am. I am the light. I am the love. I am calm. I am peace. Whatever it is that we follow with the I am, we are saying to the universe, this is what I choose in this moment, right here and right now, to set into motion. And then we begin to make it our reality. At the completion of what we have set into motion, we are able to review it and to see, did it give us what we intended it to give us? Were the results what we thought it would be? Did we experience failure or did we experience success? Ma-Ryah and Peter will tell you that every experience, even if we end up falling on our butt on the ground over it, is a very positive gift of an experience because we get the knowledge that there is still part of us somewhere within our ego states, within our human mind, that perceives that that is possible for us to have that happen. And so we are able to consciously work with it. As I'm doing this in my mind is busy telling me you are just all over the place and you're not very focused, and this is making no sense to anybody. That's how the ego state works. The part that has sought to keep me small and not allow the message to go out. And it has many reasons for doing that it will list. And to say this is why it's not safe to be seen fully as who you are and your ability to connect with spirit. As I was saying a bit earlier, I do no editing. What you see is what it is. And when I am channeling, you will notice sometimes, as light as this is right now, it is able to become so incredibly dark that sometimes all that is visible is like my face. And the first time that that happened after they made it possible for all beings, physical and non-physical, to work with their scripts, to begin to remember who they are, and to remove all the scripts of illusion that we, as the great actors that we are, believe totally, even when we leave this body and we return to the fourth dimension, the astral plane. They see Earth as the third dimension, and they see 12 levels and dimensions within our universe. And within each of those 12, there are 12 levels. And with each of those 12 levels, there are 12 levels. So you can see how it can get a bit confusing for a finite experience to be in. However, eventually it begins to make sense, and you begin to see that you are not helpless to the circumstances. You are able to have absolute chaos all around you and be able to raise your vibration, raise your frequency, claim who you are, and observe, as they like to say, as the eye of the hurricane. Some of the lessons through the years, I have resisted them bringing it through. Others has been easier for me to bring through. But after all these years, one thing I absolutely know is that anyone that Ma-Ryah and Peter have worked with who has been serious about the work they are doing has grown and transformed. They've evolved, and they are very different people than they once were. They get to work with beings who are what we are told we are to become, to remember absolute love and no judgment. Peter is a bit more human acting because he has been physical and ultimately returned fully to the infinite um, place of existence and reconnected into the 12th level of that universe. And he chooses to step down his frequency, step down his energy to be able to pick up an understanding of a lifetime that he once lived, so that he is able to assist Ma-Ryah's world, which is the seventh universe within the infinite universe, and to assist them to understand why we believe the stories we create. Why do we believe our experiences and see that as a reality? Because it sure is reality to us. And Ma-Ryah, when she began to communicate, knew nothing about what is the human experience. And her concern was for us as a soul and us as a spirit, and could not understand why human beings forgot where they came from and forgot the love that they are birthed from, and that they are creators in their own right as a gift of free will in the finite world. And so Peter continued to communicate and to be part of it so that he is able to bring the human understanding. Sometimes you will see him being pretty silly. Other times you will be able to tell when he connects more to who he is as the 12th universe being because of how he presents himself and the words and the love that you're able to feel as you work with them. Ma-Ryah's world, the seventh universe, is a universe that is based on harmony, musical tones, musical melodies and notes. And when they do healing work, they hear any illness and imbalances in us as a discordance. When they step down their energies so that I am able to receive them, I raise my energy to be as expanded as possible to connect with them, and then I step aside. I am now a conscious channel. When I first began in 1986, I began with my guide grandfather, a Native American that I saw as grandfather, and he taught me how to do the channeling, how to connect and to do this and to fulfill my childhood vow. Whenever anyone would ask me as a child, what are you going to be when you grow up? I would answer, I'm going to be a voice. And people would make fun of it and tease me about it and say that you can't just be a voice. And I would say, yes, I'm going to be a voice. Eventually, over time, I began to stop saying that and would say, I'm going to be a missionary. And that was acceptable, and people would understand that I am ordained in the New Thought Episcopal Church. And that was done years ago for my own self. I am definitely more spiritual based in my beliefs than I am in the religious dogmas that are based on separating us from the love that we come from and the love that is always there for us. The journey has been filled with so many ups and downs, and I'm sure if you choose to come to this channel and to listen to the teachings that Ma-Ryah and Peter bring forth, sometimes you will see as I begin to connect with them that I am not as balanced as I am other times. I'm very human and I show it. I do not hide who I am or where I am within myself. And part of that is to see and allow others to know it's all right to be human. It's all right that we have forgotten. We've played these roles so beautifully and for so long in the understanding and the flow of time that's who we are. That's who we see ourselves. But now in this time of remembrance, it is time for us to begin to open to the possibility. What if I am able to be in the human journey and realize I'm not here to suffer. I'm not here to experience judgment from myself or from others. I'm not here to be diminished. I am here to add my light and my love to everyone and to everything that I interact with. Watching them create, sometimes you'll see my hair will change color. Sometimes it'll be blue. Sometimes it is blue and purples and greens. So I have white gray hair because I am in my 70s. And this is my color of my hair. So you will see when I am channeling, sometimes you will notice that that changes. Ma-Ryah and Peter do use my eyes, and as a conscious channel, now I am aware, absolutely aware of almost everything they say. From time to time, if I'm interfering in any way, they'll say that they are distancing the vessel, and they have full absolute permission to do that. They also use tuning forks. So often you will see in the videos, they'll be using all of their tuning forks. They are balancing and clearing and expanding my energy so that I am able to continue to hold their higher vibration. If I were to hold 100% of their frequency, it would explode my body because our bodies aren't designed for that frequency. They currently have me at being able to hold 33%. And I don't do that every day, all day. I'm not able to. My body is still adjusting and aligning. So while you are creating with them, you will find ways to expand your energy, expand your vibration, and be able to center more in the calm and in the place of no judgment of yourself and of others. You will find your intuition wakes up and you become aware of things that perhaps you have never been aware of. You are able to see energy. You are able to feel energy. If you are healers, your healing will expand. If you are channels, your channeling will improve and you will be able to make contact with higher energies. Most of the teachers that are being accessed and channeled in our world right now are from the astral universe. And remember, there's 12 levels within the astral universe. And of course, the higher the number, the higher the frequency. So many of the teachings that are coming from different beings in our universe are very highly evolved, and they no longer create with fear. They no longer create with violence, and they are waiting for us to catch up. And when we catch up, they will be safer to show themselves. So, do I believe in extraterrestrials? Absolutely. Not everybody does, and you don't have to. You don't have to accept and fully believe anything that comes through. But I do invite you to come and to give it an attempt to sit and listen to it. I would say give it a try, but I would get corrected for that because they act a little bit like Yoda sometimes. There is no try, there is do or do not. And that is their perception and their awareness and what they push. So an attempt is made and we achieve it or we don't. And if we don't achieve it, we don't have to have the mind chatter that beats us up about it and lets us know that we failed. Once again, you open to love and you opened yourself to another human only to find that what you have experienced in an imbalanced relationship repeats itself. Working with those scripts within yourself and working on how to heal yourself, heal your emotions, heal your patterns, heal the scripts that others have handed you that you have believed. And indeed, some that we have told ourselves over and over and over. We are our worst critics. We are the ones who judge ourselves more harshly than anyone else ever would. To be able to say with absolute certainty and truth when you look in the mirror at yourself, I love you. There was a time I could say the words, but I could not hold eye contact, and it didn't have the ring of truth. What's the ring of truth, you may ask? It is the goosebumps that go up and down our bodies when the absolute truth is spoken. Hopefully, you will discover many ring of truths when you study and you learn from Ma-Ryah and Peter. In time, this will grow. In time, I myself will be more comfortable with this. Peter and Ma-Ryah have no limitations. They have no doubts or concerns. They plan to be able to connect with so many humans because it is time for us to remember we are all part of one another. We are all on this planet to remember we're not here to suffer. We're here to love one another and to begin loving ourselves. For if we cannot truly love our own self, we cannot absolutely love another. The greatest love as a woman that I've ever had is the love I have for my children. And that doesn't come close to the love that I feel with Ma-Ryah and Peter, and that people who have worked with them have been able to feel. So even though you're not face to face in person with them, you are able to feel their energy. So before I ramble on and talk even more and go in circles, perhaps as my mind is telling me I'm doing, that I am going to bring this to a conclusion. And in the conclusion, to say that by Saturday of this week at the latest, there will be a video posted, the first video of Ma-Ryah and Peter communicating on this channel in this way. I plan to set aside time in the morning and hopefully life unfolds and I experience what I have chosen. So before I go to bed this night, I will be saying I am stepping aside for Ma-Ryah and Peter to record their video in the morning. And once it is recorded, then it will be posted. And whatever you see energy-wise, hair color, anything that occurs, you will know that that is them. And it is no effects put on the video. It is nothing that is edited into it. It is absolutely them. Sometimes they will do guided journeys. And eventually I would like to learn how to edit enough, and I will indeed learn it, to be able to place photographs and stuff while they are doing the journey and you hear their voice. Otherwise, though, there is no special effects or filters. What you see is what you get. I bless you, and I hope to see you coming here to see and to listen to the videos and the teachings from the infinite beings of pure, absolute love, Ma-Ryah and Peter. Goodbye.